I'm not sure if you saw the introductions. We can introduce ourselves. My name is Mason Seitz. I'm here in the United States in Ohio, and I'm the co-host.
Yeah, welcome, Christiana. I am Arturo Mendez. I am an educator in the Tecnológico de Monterrey in Monterrey, Mexico. So welcome to the Global Innovation Field Trip.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Christana, and I'm an undergraduate accounting student based in the United States.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to the Global Innovation Field Trip. We are excited to see your presentation. Are you ready to go ahead and get started with presenting? You can start sharing your screen or your camera or whatever you're ready to present. Do we lose you, Christana?
Oh, yes, I will just share my screen right now.
Perfect. All
Good
right.
afternoon. My name is Christana Pierre, presenting from the United States. Today I'm going to introduce something that doesn't exist yet, but should exist. I work as a tax analysis intern. Every single day, I sit across from the people who are capable, resilient, and hardworking, and I watch a system tell them that they don't qualify. Not because they failed, but because the system was never designed to see them. That experience led me to a question I couldn't ignore. If trauma shapes financial behavior and behavior shapes credit outcomes, why aren't we measuring it? Right now, as financial systems evaluate people using three things: a credit score, income history, and debt records. What they completely miss is financial trauma, income volatility, and the psychological barriers that come from adversity. The result, according to the World Bank latest Global Findex database, 1.3 billion adults remain unbanked. 55% are women and 52% are from the poorest households. Not unworthy, unseen. This isn't abstract. 742 million women worldwide still lack a financial account. In sub-Saharan Africa, 42% of adults remain unbanked despite the spread of mobile money. Over 60% of American adults experienced at least one adverse childhood experience, according to the CDC. These numbers all point to the same root, a cause, a system that cannot read context. Here's the science. Van der Velden and colleagues published in the Journal of Anxiety Disorders in 2023, a prospective population-based study of nearly 6,000 people. Their finding is that victims with persistent financial problems are two to three times more likely to develop probable PTSD, an adjusted odds ratio of 2.10 for moderate anxiety and depression. And 60.5% of trauma victims with ongoing financial problems lack emotional support. The Global Financial Trauma Index directly measures this intersection. Trauma and finance are not separate variables. Guida and colleagues at Drexel, published in 2024, ran a difference in differences analysis on 369 participants in a trauma-informed financial program in Philadelphia. Participants who fully engaged show nearly 3 more points on the financial behaviors and efficacy scale at 6 months, statistically significant. On the financial capability scale, the effect was even stronger at 3 points with less than 0.0001. The takeaway is that when we address trauma as part of financial support, outcomes improve measurably. The Global Financial Trauma Index makes it so that intervention is possible before exclusion happens. Grattan and colleagues published in Frontiers in Psychiatry just last year that financial stress independently predicted psychotic-like experiences in postpartum women, above and beyond depression, anxiety, and general stress. Financial stress is its own variable. In Health Affairs, published in 2024, a study of 93,000 children showing that ACEs create a direct pipeline to adult poverty and exclusion. Even after controlling for childhood income, this is not moral failure, it is measurement failure. So the Global Financial Trauma Index addresses this with 4 dimensions. Trauma exposure. What shaped this person's financial reality? behavioral impact. How has the trauma affected how they engage with money, system misclassification? Where is the current system failing them? And the Global Financial Trauma Index intervention, the context-aware correction. Think of it as Human Development Index, but built for financial trauma. And here's the critical point for this audience. The Global Financial Trauma Index is buildable right now with public data. World Bank Findex 2025, IMF Financial Access Survey, the Federal Reserve Shed Report, the CFPB Wellbeing Scale, WHO and CDC and ACE data. No proprietary access required. We normalize indicators using z-scores, weight the 4 dimensions, compute a composite score, and visualize in Tableau or Flourish. It is replicable. It is peer reviewable. Here's what the Global Financial Trauma Index actually looks like in practice. Maria, 34 in Nigeria, traditional systems says denied, but her Global Financial Trauma Index profile shows high community support, strong resilience signals, and context-driven income volatility, not negligence. James, 29 in the US, traditional system says denied, but his Global Financial Trauma Index reveals that an ACE score of 4+ driving avoidance behaviors, not character failure. Both are candidates for trauma-adjusted lending products. That's the difference between a system that excludes and a system that sees. The Global Financial Trauma Index doesn't just serve individuals. Financial institutions get smarter, fair lending decisions. Government gets data-driven policy tools. NGOs can target trauma-informed programs where they're needed most. And development organizations get a way to benchmark financial equity across countries and track SDG progress. 8 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals include financial inclusion as a direct target. 4 seasons, this has to happen now. The dataset exists. The science arrived in 2023, 2024, and 2025. Health Affairs documented the cost of inaction with a study of nearly 1 million people. In the momentum, SDG commitments, ESG pressure on banks, fintech disruption creates a window that won't stay open forever. The credit score was invented in 1989. It's time to build what comes next. Phase 1 is now. Build a proof of concept, publish the methodology. Phase 2 is validation. Partner with NGOs and CDFIS to pilot tests, seek academic collaboration. Phase 3 is scale. Advocate for GFTI as supplementary lender metric and publish across country research study. This trajectory is also what makes it strong undergraduate thesis, a conference paper, and a policy proposal, all 3. To researchers in this room, help validate the framework. To financial institutions, the data exists, the science is here, the capital is waiting. And to every global innovator in the GIFT community, you represent a country where this index matters. Share it, build on it. The measurement gap is global. So is the solution. A more human measure of financial stature for everyone and everywhere in the world. I'm Christana Pierre. When we measure context, we unlock opportunity. Thank you.
Great presentation, Christana. Thank you so much for presenting. It looks like we've got a little bit more time, so I'd love to go ahead and dive into some questions. Before I do, though, would you mind minimizing the camera? It looks like the camera viewpoints on your screen, and would you mind just flipping through the slides real quick? It looks like they're blocking part of the screen, and I want to make sure everybody that's watching this at home or after the fact can see all the great numbers that you lined up, because it looks like they were blocking some on the right side.
Oh, sorry.
If you can't do that, no worries. We'll dive into some questions, but just in case anybody watching, I wanted them to see all the great research you did.
Thank you. Yes, so should I
If it
make
looks
it
like,
out of like slideshow?
is there a bar? It looks like, is there bars cameras on the right side of your screen?
Yeah, it's the Zoom
Yep.
windows, they overlap and they block like
Yep.
the
Just if
shade.
you just maybe just like minimize those or something, and then just quickly you can just skim through the presentation just so everybody can see some of the numbers that were caught off. If you can't do it, no worries. Um, No worries. We can dive into some questions. One of the questions I had is, Christana, how have you been able to kind of test this? So it looks like you've done a lot of kind of triangulation of data and building out this score. Have you been able to work with any partners on getting it involved? One of the things you talked about was momentum in fintech space and alternative banking and financing. Have you been able to connect with anybody, or is that something that maybe the gift audience could help with?
I haven't been able to connect with anyone because it's a fairly new framework that I've been researching and cultivating over a couple of months. So I thought this opportunity would be great exposure to be able to make some connections regards to
Nice.
that.
Well, fantastic. Well, gift audience. That means if you know anybody that might be able to collaborate somehow, um, reach out to Christana. One of the other questions I had was, what do you think the opportunity is, right, for banks and financial institutions? You talked a little bit about the opportunity that it represents for them for this untapped capital. What do you project as kind of the financial incentive for these private institutions to help that? Is there a way that they are missing out on, all of these unbanked individuals?
I would say that it helps banks in the sense that it would create more opportunities for them to be able to share more banking products if they had a fair assessment on individuals where they tied in some of the frameworks from the Global Financial Trauma Index. So in that sense, I do feel that they would be able to benefit from that too, because with the normal credit score that is in place in typical financial institutions, I do believe that it also limits how much banking products that they're able to lend out to individuals because they're not taking in more variables into consideration.
Okay, great. And just making sure I understand. So that what the trauma index is or the GFIT is presenting is um how trauma has impacted their banking history. And a better score indicates that that trauma is not stopping them from being somebody who can interface with these financial institutions in the future, right?
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, we've just got a couple minutes left. So do you have kind of one last message you'd like to give to the audience or the gift audience about the GFIT?
I would say that I do believe that there is a real issue when it comes to providing the same access to capital for individuals who might have been impacted by financial trauma. And I do feel very passionate about um, creating equal opportunities for individuals that might not have been seen in these sort of systems. So I believe that it's worth investing in and truly creating a different standard of measuring how we allow access for individuals to um, these products that are serviced by financial institutions.
Fantastic. Well, Christina, thank you so much for coming in and presenting gift audience. You've heard the ask. You've heard if you have anybody in your network that you might be able to connect Christina with, go ahead and reach out so that we can help solve financial equity around the world. Looks like thank you, Christina, again for coming in and presenting, and we'll go ahead and we'll start preparing for our next presentation, the Pieces of Peace.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Christana.